And now he's gonna have to show that he has a really strong spine.
Exactly. Exactly. And YouTube audience, welcome again to Valorant Challenger Series. South Asia, of course, driven by Hyundai i20. We've got the player walk-ins in front of us, and every single player from these teams is, of course, looking stylish. We saw the roll-ins a while ago, too. But now this is showtime. Of course, there are going to be a little bit more jitters on the side of MLT Esports as they're not playing with their playing 5. So I want to see how these players are going to be dealing with those jitters. For now, every single player is looking pretty stylish, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving the MLT Esports jersey.
Oh yeah, of course, if you love their jersey, you would definitely love their performance. You see that guy in the center over there? Tricky.
Yeah.
Man's an absolute beast. Would you believe it if I told you he's barely 17 years old? He's not even out of his teens yet. And yet he's being touted as one of the finest players that this country has produced. Now, of course, when you take a look at some of the team players, you assume that they will be having this cracked amount of aim, but not all that much game sense. Well, that doesn't hold true for this man at all. He is so much more mature than his age. He doesn't play like a teenager at all. He plays like he's been in the server forever. And he also will have to step up today. Tricky usually is the pointy end of this team's spear. He's usually the man who dives in first. He's, of course, the designated duelist, right? So he's going to have a lot of pressure on him to deliver today.
And we all know, once you've got the brain and the aim as well, then we know we've got a nuclear performer on our hands. And hopefully that's going to be the case inside this, because the way MLT Esports is looking like, I feel like there has to be someone taking the charge in their hands. Before now, as we do take a look at the map veto in front of us, and Aster Army are instantly going to go for a fracture ban, and then MLT Esports is going to go ahead and ban the Lotus map. On the other hand, though, Aster Army, they're going to get the Ascent pick done. This is the first time we're not going to be seeing Haven being picked.
It's kind of concerning for me why Aster Army would ban out Fracture. The last time these two teams faced each other, MLT Esports destroyed Aster Army. MLT won 13-5. So it makes sense, right, that they would ban out Fracture. But then again, they pick up Ascent. And yes, Aster Army did win that map the last time these two teams faced each other, but they didn't win it by a landslide. It was a 13-11 win. So it really came down to the wire. And Pearl was never even played last time in the best of 5 that these teams faced each other in. Nobody picked Pearl, so that's going to be a fresh one for all of them.
I mean, look, you got to bring new things up, right? This is a new tournament. This is a new showing, and it's one of the biggest stages South Asia's ever seen. So you got to bring and you got to change some new strats, right? It's the part of the evolution, and maybe this is where they're going to surprise us a little bit, because I'm down. I am really down, because considering Aster Army might know that opponent team is already on the struggling phase, so Aster Army might take this a little easy, and they might just underestimate their opponents.
I hope they don't. I mean, sure, they've got the luxury to have a couple of maps in their side. Haven, the decider map, happens to be the game where Aster Army was able to truly showcase their dominance. Aster Army won 13-4 the last time MLT and Aster faced each other on Haven. So yes, having that as a decider map does give you a little bit of comfort, but you shouldn't rely on that map in the first place. The fact that you pick up Ascent is kind of a 50-50 for both of them. And then Pearl is no man's land. So you're really starting afresh. Everything that you learned about each other in the previous game, that completely goes out the window.
But as you guys saw, the agent select in front of us, and yeah, I am ready for this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm pretty sure every single viewer inside the chat's excited for this matchup to just start up as soon as possible. Aster Army versus MLT Esports. The first pistol round's about to kick off soon enough, as we've got the players in front of us. And Aster Army, they are going to be on the attacking side, and MLT Esports on the defending side. So, at least for now, it's going to be taking a first couple of rounds, I'm going to say, for MLT Esports to shake off their jitters.
Let's see if there are any jitters in the first place or not. I mean, who knows? Maybe these guys just walk straight out, flying off the rooftops. That would be a surprise for you, wouldn't it? Aster Army, on the other hand, they seem prepared for now. Composition's almost the same. In fact, not even almost. It is exactly the same. So let's see how these teams mirror each other.
I'm pretty sure not just us, not just we are going to be surprised. Even every single viewer in the chat will be surprised. And look at this, MLT Esports starting off, taking the heat to the opponents. Wink will shut down the aggressive approach, but instantly the trade's there. But they still have got the man advantage. It's a 4-on-3 situation favoring the players of Aster Army. And Doxer's taken down to 37 HP. So Aster will try to play things a little safe and sound here.
And Aster Army has no reason to play aggressively at all. Metal took the fight to them, lost the man advantage, and they've even lost the HP advantage. Izzy's almost a dead man. So Aster Army really can take their sweet time. And because they spent so much time just chilling outside of B main, now Metal will be thinking about themselves. Where did these guys go? They spent too much time over here. Are they still present? The recon dot doesn't get destroyed, but everybody dodges it by either hiding in the smoke or doing something else.
It's crazy. No one got scanned from that recon dart, and now it's going to be clean flow inside the site. Dominic was able to open up the flow, and DC Rules is taken down way too low. Nothing much expected from his site. The site's now in his hands. Easy is the man who's quite hurt, so the clutch is going to be next to impossible. It's a 3-on-1 situation in which Easy is quite hurt, so at least we can say confirmed that the first round is in the favor of Aster Army. So they've got a nice little flow setup already for them. I'm not sure the approach, the aggressive approach, the MLT Esports players try to bring it to them. They thought maybe if they do get the early advantage, then things can be a little different. And it didn't really work out in their favor.
It did not, but I don't blame them for trying something like this. This is definitely a really cool approach. You show them aggression right off the bat, and then all of a sudden, I'm sure MLT Esports, like some 7-8 rounds down the line, they're going to cut that aggression down. Now, what this will do is, it will prompt Aster Army to play super slowly every single time because they expect the aggression. And then all of a sudden, Metal go for the pace variations. I mean, look at the variation this time. They have absolutely nobody on mid, nobody on B. All 5 players of Metal stacked up on the A side. So, in eco rounds like these, MLT Esports truly have the opportunity to experiment and get away with it because the stakes are low.
Cover going out.
Of course, an anti-eco for Aster because they won the first round. But Wink is not going to go for anything more. He's just going to play with the Sheriff because he wants to aim for the Operator in the upcoming rounds. Dominic, on the other hand, of course, on a full buy. Every single player on that team's on a full buy. Doxer, though, is the only man who's got the AR in the hand next to Kishi. MLT Esports, they've got a huge wave of enemies just approaching them soon enough, but it's going to be an A stack from the side of MLT Esports, so it's quite a great read.
Yeah, and they're now starting to avoid it. The drone didn't spot out too many players, but the 0 point, it almost had the read on everybody. And because Aster have already sneaked up towards the middle region as well, it kind of tells you now that they'll soon discover B is empty, and they'll take it without any difficulty whatsoever.
Yeah, MLT Esports, I mean, the strategies they're trying to pull off over here is like, they know the only way they can defeat Aster Army is with unity. And that's what they're trying to do, play together and set up a trap for the opponent team. But Aster Army are not going to fall for that trap just that easily.
No.
But, oh, DC Rule finds Doxer. That's a big one, too. Another one to follow it up. DC Rules. Some nice shots that are connecting right on the dome. Another one. Oh, Coley falls down. This man is just dealing a lot of damage. You cannot afford to give so many guns up just like that.
Exactly.
But eventually he gets taken down.
Yeah, like imagine what would have happened if... Oh no, they did not get the rifle. Oh, they lost the Phantom. They tried to get them both, you know, they tried to throw weapons around and retrieve the 2 rifles, but it wasn't possible. Hey, but there's at least one good thing out of this round for both the teams, right? You have the Killjoy already farming up the lockdown. Doxer prepared with his ultimate in round 3. That's how early it is. Meanwhile, you now know that you simply cannot give away 1v1s to DC rules like that. He's gonna make it expensive for you.
Oh no, Metal. Oh, with the way Metal is playing, it's like they're trying to make something work. And it does really seem like the confidence, man. Oh boy. I feel like Metal should try and hold back a little bit, let the players of Aster take the fight to them. Because as I said, there's a huge chance Aster Academies or Aster Army is probably going to underestimate them. Lockdown's invested inside this. He's trying to wall bang and trying to get rid of it, but you can't really do that. You need to fall back from that side. Vikrant could have almost been the casualty, was able to just get back in nick of time.
Yeah, that was too close for comfort, but hey, at least they've got the site. Plant's gonna go down now. Aster Army, their patience really pays off, and MLT Esports avoiding the fights at least for now. They've got the resources to mount the retake, but are they really trying to do it? From the shadows committed. A little bit of information gathered, but it doesn't really help them take action. Now they have no choice but to go right in. As he gets the first bird, and this should get the ball rolling. They're aware that there's at least one T inside the B main region, but how will they avoid him? It's going to come down to timing, and Dominic needs to play this well. Wink and Kishi defend the lane region with their lives, and they do it really well. MLT Esports have no chance in this round.
Oh, with the way they're playing, it seems like they're not going to have a chance inside the entire game, Crips. I don't like these strategies that they're trying to roll out their sleeves. I'm not a huge fan of this early aggression. Because you're playing inside a professional game, and pretty much 90% of the time, every single angle is being watched by those players. And they're really going for those head-on-head collision fights right off the bat. I do understand you guys are desperate. You really do want that early first blood, but I'm not sure if that's the way you want to get it. Just pushing up all by yourself with no backup, you are going to get punished, and that's what's been happening with the Tricks, not just in the first round, even inside the third round. But now, once again, MLT Esports being forced on an eco. Want to see how this one's going to roll out.
At least this time, MLT Esports aren't going for a full stack towards the ace side. This is more like a default, but look at the amount of aggression that Hacker is up to. He's trying to go towards B main, almost trigger that alarm bot that Doxer had put up. It's the student and the master going up against each other. And Doxer has the read. The nanoswarm will burn Hacker alive, force him out, and another freebie.
That's a good opening for Aster. Just flushing out the players with the utilities perfectly done. Great reads from their side. And you also saw they were marking the alarm bot. They knew exactly where the alarm bot was.
Yeah.
MLT Esports, they're getting read like a book. And yeah, things aren't working out. Things really aren't working out. They're just losing those initial duels. They're really going for that aggressive approach. Always trying to be up close and personal inside B main, and that's what is the problem here. Nice little dink. Dominic gets scooshed, but that's not going to be enough. A flawless round from Aster Army.
Yet another flawless round for Aster Army. At this point, you gotta start worrying about the snowball effects, right? What is the snowball effect? The fact that you can keep your guns alive without having to rebuy them puts your economy at a massive advantage. At this point, Aster Army have all the money in the world, and Metal just got out of an eco. So they need to prop these weapons up, and they need to do it soon. Not just that, they need to set up Tricky for success if they want a little bit of map control early on. Otherwise, they can continue playing their defaults. Metal haven't tried that yet. So maybe a passive approach might help. We don't know the answers to it yet. But as the recon dots are exchanged, the Vandal breaks it. So they still don't know that Tricky is present with an AWP over here. Yes, the turret will go around and just fizzle away anyone who's firing. But again, it's broken with a Vandal. The presence of the AWP not detected by Aster.
They're trying to bait out a peek. Fragment, nice little fragment to try and delay the push. They know it's going to be a clean flood inside the A site. Instantly follows it up with a smoke too. MLT Esports. I finally like the approach they're bringing inside the game. Playing nice and slow. Letting the players of Aster decide what they want to do.
Yeah. And so far, Aster really haven't made any moves. They're playing it nice and slowly, and that's a good reason because they're still waiting for metal aggression. Inside the smoke, the Hunter awaits, and Fox gets that first kill. Tricky shutting them down. He's prepared for the aggression, and they're all giving in to him. They're feeding him. And this is not a monster you want to get fat. Doxer, left to his own devices, barely any HP to work with.
Interesting. Quite a interesting round, I'm not gonna lie. We're not really seeing the showcase of, or what do you say, the prime showcase of utility so far. The proper executions, we aren't really seeing that. Just seems like some players trying to go for some fights and getting those picks off just like that, giving those open peaks, drive peaks. Interesting approach from both these sides, and as I said, I think so there is a huge chance where Aster Army is probably underestimating MLT Esports. But they soon will need to start taking things a little serious. They've got a From the Shadow available and even a lockdown. They can try to utilize that. Fox, what a shutdown!
Yeah, that was a really good one. Paranoia followed by the dash. This should have been a good kill for Wink, but Fox survives to tell the tale. And now he's got backup available too. With all this amount of information that he's able to gather, he can figure out that almost the entirety of Aster Army is towards A main. But yet, despite knowing that, Metal take no approach to get a land grab towards B. They're still going to hold their defaults. At least for now, Aster Army haven't really... I'm sorry, not Aster. MLT Esports haven't really changed their killjoy setup. The alarm bot always stays towards mid. The rest of the KJ util stays towards the B side, which is fair. This allows Ezzy to hold on to this area all by himself. But I'm concerned about Vikrant. Concerned about Hacker. If Aster Army try to take mid, he's got no trading potential.
The player's been spotted. Kohli's position's given away. The drone's out too. A little bit of information's being flown in their direction. Aster Army, they've got Kohli just giving the presence away. Maybe trying to just tail the people of MLT Esports. Maybe trying to force last-minute rotation, but that's not going to be the case. The lockdown's invested on the B site. Now Easy definitely knows there's a commitment coming in soon enough. Wants to go for a little bit of blind. Just spams, but nothing connects. Nice little fragment out just to force out the player. Easy is not going to let them take the site. Aster, they are going to have an easy flow inside the B site, but at what cost? They've lost out in two-player squad right off the bat. Dominic trying to fight back, but he gets shut down. Another player from the side of Aster is just trying to hold it down. Kishi has to be the MVP inside this round. DC Rules versus Kishi, one-on-one situation in which clearly Kishi has a huge disadvantage. Got 6 bullets in the magazine. Can't even go for a reload because he knows if he does, his position will be given away. So he just wants to play it really safe. But look at DC Rules. Oh, it seems like DC Rules should be able to win this fight, but no! Kishi flips the table.
This was such a nice round from Kishi. I can call him the Doomslayer because of his tattoo, if you paid attention to it, but he really played along with Dominic to perfection. You see, Dominic is holding this one under an angle where he can only put pressure towards Market, and in case anyone comes in from the defender's spawn, he can turn around and shoot at them, but at that point he will be at a disadvantage. So how does Kishi play along? He waits for the Dominic contact. As soon as Dominic makes contact, Kishi swings alongside, and this really throws off MLT Esports because they are not expecting a crossfire like this. You can't even call this a crossfire. This is more of a bait and switch. The MLT Esports setup has changed. This time Killjoy utility not present towards mid, and this allows Aster Army to go all the way in, and that too really fast. No weapons available for MLT Esports to defend this B side, and it's gonna fall.
A huge change in the pace. They knew it's gonna be an eco round from their side. What a shot, Dominic! Just strikes him down with the Phantom and follows it up with another one too, but Tricky this time is all by himself, but got a player in the back, and Dexter just sweeps him up. Dexter with a huge 3K, also got the site control for his team, just standing out tall for his team, as they knew that it's probably going to be an eco round from the enemy side, so Aster Army just made a complete bum rush against them. And as I said, it doesn't even feel like Aster Army are really throwing out some insane executions. They're just straight up flowing inside the site, just taking control straight up. They're not scared.
Yeah, they're not. And most often they're always able to get that opening kill. So Aster Army are really just playing fiddle along with Metal Esports. They're forcing Metal Esports to adapt again and again, which you can see by the adaptation of their Killjoy util. But even with those adaptations, they're not able to stop Aster Army. The fact that Aster can get that opening frag again and again is a big concern. And yes, Aster sometimes try to hit these sites with full pace. We've seen that. But you also need to keep in mind that Aster Army sometimes go for these fakes. They haven't been very convincing, but at least they're attempting them. So this kind of conditions Metal Esports to believe that Aster will never hit them with all 5 members together, which also could lead to them not adjusting appropriately. But even with the 3 or 4 members of Aster who hit the A site, even though they are the tip of the spear, they're enough to convince the remaining members of Metal Esports to not make the full rotations. And then the lurkers just really get you. You saw the kind of positioning that was coming in from Doxer this round. He came in late from mid, went all the way towards defender spawn to kill anyone who's hanging back towards the B entrance. And these kind of variations from Aster Army, even though they aren't much, it makes Metal Esports' life super difficult. That shock dart was used to break an alarm bot. Why? Because in like the round number 2 or 3, Doxer put up an alarm bot over there. And we're hoping that shock dart can destroy that, but it's not present.
Aster Army, they're just giving out dry peaks. They're just not scared. All they need is just the control, and that's what the main aim for them is right now. Quite a slow start this time. A huge change in the pace once again. Aster, they know now it's not going to be an equal round, so maybe they need to take a little bit of caution. And that's what they're exactly doing. Fox, on the other hand, though, is quite aggressive on the A-main, so he's got a lot of information. He knows that there's no one lurking around, and what a shot from Kishi to open the fray up, and he's able to just open the flood inside the site. Now every single player is just going to flow inside the B site. Easy, all the way in the back, gets spammed out. Oh, this is not looking good for Metal Esports. It's a 3-on-4 situation in which Wink was shut down, but that's not going to be a problem. They still have an entire force alive.
Exactly, and 2 of those players of Metal Esports coming in from market. There's a nanoswarm on the way. This crossfire setup between Kohli and Dominic, it is nuts. It's nearly impossible to clear, especially with an op. Kishi gives up his life, but that still doesn't mean that Metal Esports are in the clear. They still have to go around. Another cool shot by Tricky. Now this could really set things in motion. 3 HP, but that's enough. The op should be allowing him to get all those frags. 4K in his hands already, but he's given up. He knows that there's no way he can clutch this out, not with the amount of HP remaining, so he's just gonna fall back and hope to save this weapon. Oh, but the setup from Metal Esports this time was so flawed. Look at the position of the alarm bot that has been put up by Metal Esports. It's so shallow. It's almost towards the start of defender spawn. It doesn't really help Metal Esports to detect when mid-control is being taken. I mean, that's partially fine because Tricky was marking the angle manually. But when Tricky's forced to fall back, that's when the opportunity of window opens up for Aster Army, and they were able to exploit it really well. This is like the 2nd time in a row that only 2 people from Aster Army went up mid, and they were still able to cut the rotations of Metal Esports in half.
I am really worried for Metal Esports. Aster Army aren't even showing their true potential.
Exactly.
They're just like fiddling around right now. It feels like a normal competitive game, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, just like a high-ranked competitive game. Because Aster Army just aren't bringing those type of executes. Look at this one-way smoke. You see this off, and yeah, the opening's gonna be found once again. Wink successfully wins that duel. Vikrant up close and personal with the sheriff. He's not gonna find anything. Instantly sent back home with empty hands.
Oh, Team Flash. That's okay.
Oh man, it's completely fine though. No one was there in the front, so it's not going to cost him anything. DC Rules still has the From the Shadows available. 2 guns are left, and every single player, on the other hand, on the side of Aster Army, is still alive.
Oh, at least DC Rules can get this frag.
Oh, that's a good thing. He's retrieved a Phantom in the hand, so that means Metal Esports at least have a little bit more chance for the upcoming round.
Yeah, but how many more chances do they have in their bag? They're running out. It's round 9 already, and they're yet to put up another round on the board.
Ooh.
It's kind of a pattern, right? Every time DC deals in a post-plant position which he has no hopes of winning, he just activates himself. He gets all the frags. Except this one.
It's like Doxer is just the Undertaker. He's lurking everywhere.
I know,
You never
right?
know when this man's coming out. You never know.
And
he's just lurking all across the map.
And he's such a pain in the side. Like, the spike's planted all the way towards B. Man comes out of a shot. Who on earth would expect that? Not me.
He went all the way through defender spawn.
Yeah.
And came towards tree. And then took him down. So, yeah, he's putting in a lot of efforts. I'm not going to lie. At this point, if I knew that, okay, we're just going to win, I'm just going to leave my keyboard. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I'm going to be like, yeah, we're good.
Nah, but these guys are proactive that way. They won't take their coffee breaks. They will, in fact, hound Metal Esports even further. Because, you see, Aster Army has so much money right now that even if they lose every single gun in an attempt to hunt down the live members of Metal Esports, it's fine because they can afford to purchase weapons again. And with like only 2 or 3 rounds left in this half, they have money for ages. Metal Esports, on the other hand, if they lose that up, it's done. It's dusted. They won't have the money to rebuy it later. But at least there's 4 ultimates available on Metal, so this should help them do something. So far, they have stopped playing aggressively towards B main and taking that aggression towards A main instead. But the moment I say that, Tricky gets ready with the op again. And on the other hand, there's Doxer.
I don't like this. I don't like this for Tricky. I don't like it at all. There needs to be at least some sort of a flash to give Tricky a little edge. And oh no, the man gets picked off instantly, switched on over to Phantom. And Doxer gets greeted by the operator. That was a nice little bait, but still it's a trade. So that bait's not going to count that much. The main reason why we saw Hacker just pull up in the front was to take down the turret and let the opping activate because he was trying to force out a peek. He was trying to bait out a peek more like that. But on the other hand, though, Metal, at least they're able to take down another player near tree. So that's going to give him a little bit of more semblance of life as they're able to find at least a little bit more advantage. The spike will go down on the A site. An easy stroll on the A site for them, not a problem at all. On the other hand, though, Tricky, once again, with the operator, a lot of burden on his shoulder. He needs to strike in, and he does!
Nice!
The knives will instantly pull out. The Blade Storm is doing so much damage. And Tricky, with a 4K, saves the day for his team.
Finally, it seems like Metal Esports have a lifeline extended to them. But it all comes down to the heroics of Tricky. I mean, before the game even began, I said that this man will need to step up, but that's the problem about Metal Esports, right? They always rely on Tricky. He is the tip of the spear, but you can't use the same spear again and again. You gotta mix it up. So, kudos to Tricky for pulling this one off, but it came at a steep cost. You wouldn't expect Doxer, of all people, to have an op right outside of B hut. That being said, you also have to give credit to Ezzy this round. His setup kind of dissipated the members of Astra Army because, you see, the first dash in from Wink came in pretty quickly, but his teammates couldn't follow up behind. So Dominic, Kohli were left behind. They couldn't back him up. Kind of led to them being isolated and exterminated.
And remember, in the pregame segment, I even said this. At least there has to be 1 or 2 players who are taking things in their charge. And that's what it seems like. I mean, Tricky so far is taking things in his charge, but I mean, look. He's being shut down instantly. The trade came from the side of Aster Army. Seems pretty strong. Now it's a 3-on-3 situation, and that's completely fine with the players of Aster Army. They've got a huge lead, and they can sacrifice a couple of rounds if they do want it. Tricky, though. Nice little peek. Shuts down another player. He's just being such a pain for them. And Metal Esports, Tricky is the only lifeline that's saving them the day so far. Fox is being pushed up all the way from B main. He's also got the spike control. Aster Army, they need to take the spike control back in their hands. And Dominic, on the other hand, spots out the little cape of Omen. What's going on? How is he not looking on the mid? That's a huge, irresponsible move.
Yeah, that was a big, unfortunate incident in Aster Army. That was, I think, the first time that they made unforced errors. And it's crucial for Metal Esports to capitalize on those unforced errors. Yes, the opening frags went haywire. Both these teams were able to get the trade 3-on-3. But this is turning into a pattern now. This frag, the Tricky just got onto Wink. This is the second time he's been able to do so. Almost every single time Aster Army tried to hit A, Wink extends all the way in towards heaven. Wait, is Doxer on 21 frags? That would be nuts if that's true.
And he's also got the lockdown available. But if he does want to use it, again, the operator is the only thing that's been saving the day for the players of MLT Esports, but this Odin now might just cause a lot of problems. Yeah, finds one, but he's not going to be able to follow it up with another one. Cooley's there to instantly trade things out. Decent rules on the other hand, managed to flank up all the way in the back, use the from the shadows. And Doxer continues his journey, continues his W key journey, pushes all the way up till the defender spawn. But now he needs to fall back. He knows his team on the site need a little bit of help. It's a 3-on-3 situation. He can't go missing on the site. And what's going on here? Doxer's the only man left alive, and he whiffs a lot of shots, and he will need to pay the price for that. MLT Esports, another round on the board, make it an 8-4 half.
This was a crucial one for MLT Esports, coming alive in the last few rounds of this half. It's incredible how MLT Esports this time just seemed like they were so much more structured, and if this was visible right from the start, this would have been a very different round. Let's take it from the top. From the shadows that DC dudes made. It was a huge commitment, right? You wouldn't expect an Omen to actually stick the TP, but you can understand why he was disappointed, because even after making that quick flank with the ultimate, he wasn't able to go in and help his teammates out in time because of the lockdown. Now, he was expecting that the lockdown would be placed in a position where he can destroy it, but it wasn't there. But at least he was able to make sure that there's no post-plan positions that Aster Army can get into. And that's how they were able to win this round.
Exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, that was it for the first half. We'll be right back with the second half after this short break.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
And we are back with the second half, of course, inside the Valorant Challenger Series South Asia. And as you guys can see, the stage, once again, before the second half starts up, because every single player is just locked in their monitor. Now, again, the heat level starting to rise up. Aster Army, as they're pushed on the defender side, and now MLT Esports on the attacking side, there's going to be a huge playstyle change.
Yeah, let's hope there is a huge playstyle change, because so far it looked like Aster Army was in the lead. MLT Esports did accommodate for all the mistakes that they were making early on, but it's a bit too late. That being said, look at the deficit in scores though. My goodness, what is this? Doxer on 22? The rest of his team is not even above 10. At least with Tricky and DC rules, the deficit ain't all that great, but Tricky now leading the charge. A Paranoia to help him out as well. They failed to capitalize on it, don't get the first frag, but now Wings trapped in an awkward corner. He's revealed, he's being burned by the nanoswarms, and he won't make it back to safety.
Oh, perfect usage of utility, and this in itself just shows how much even MLT Esports aren't really showcasing their true potential. As they found the first opening, they're instantly going to try to fall back, and no, it's a little hole. They're trying to play little mind games against Aster. So MLT Esports just holding over here, just outside A main. Letting the tricks play its game, letting the mind play its game, letting the second decisions kick in. And Aster Army, even they are quite patient.
Yeah, but it just takes 1 0 point from Kishi to ruin all their plans, ruin their secrets, and all 5 of them detected. Yeah, that's going to ring alarm bells, and MLT Esports waste no time. They flood into the site, throwing bodies one after the other. And just like that, the site's under control. They've got this in the bag.
I don't like this for Aster Army, considering MLT Esports isn't even playing with their playing 5 and they're already struggling this much. Aster Army, you guys need to do something. I understand you guys are not throwing everything to the table, but this might just be the time to show a little glimpse of your power. Aster Army, Coley is taken down way too low, nothing found, and the round will be claimed by MLT Esports. A start they needed inside the second half, make it 8-5 score on the second half, as they've got the pistol round in the hand too, and as expected, the upcoming anti-eco round should be in their hand as well.
It should, unless Aster Army go for a ridiculous eco push, or maybe go for a gamble stack which works out massively for them. Doesn't seem like they're gonna go for something like that. It's a triple stack towards mid, 2 stack towards A shot, so it seems like Aster Army will just fight aggressively towards mid, but with only classics and a shorty, I don't know how much they can accomplish.
A lot of questions in my mind so far. Don't exactly know what Aster Army are trying to pull off here. Oh, hands busy. Kishi gets caught. And Tricky doesn't expect the third man to be on the mid, but it's completely fine. They've already got a huge trade, and they've already got a huge advantage over. And Metal Esports, another round is expected. Easy stroll on the mid, and they will get the mid control. It's just like a casual stroll on a sunny day, huh?
Yeah, I mean, at least a casual stroll lasts a little longer, you know. You gotta put on your shoes, you walk a couple of steps, get sweaty and get back home, but this one was over way before any of that. At least now we'll have a decent fight. There is a certain amount of weaponry available on Metal. Hacker has the Vandal. Meanwhile, on Aster Army, everyone's upgraded their weapons. Phantoms all across the board. Heavy shields as well. Let's see how this works out. The Killjoy utility from Aster Army is placed towards B and mid. The alarm bot is like the standard alarm bot that almost every Killjoy places. Paranoia used to push Aster Army back. This is good. They were trying to go for A main control, so at least Metal Esports recognize that. And they've made the deduction that B side might be a little empty. No smokes in place, which means Doxer has the entirety of vision to his hands. He does take one down. Metal Esports weak. Spike not planted. The need to get inside before Aster Army converges upon them.
But it's completely fine. Doxer's done his job.
Yeah.
He took down 2 players before he went down, so already the huge advantage is favoring the players of Aster Army. Another player, Easy, is taken down way too low. He caught a little dink before he went down. Vikram finds a nice little glimmer of hope for his team, but Aster Army, they're just now starting to roll up. Easy with 8 HP in the hand with a Spectre and a Dream. Seems pretty next to impossible. And as you guys saw, he's just trying to toss on over some utilities to try and stop the plant, but he can't really do so for long because Dominic's ready posted up.
I like the approach from Metal Esports. They tried to go for a contact play like that, which is good, you know. The drone and everything else was used very early on in the round to clear out mid. So that really gets rid of your mid utility. But what Aster Army don't know is whether Metal will aggress mid on the back of that, or will they fall back and, you know, take some time, take their map control elsewhere and take it slowly. Of course, Metal Esports went for the full-blown push. They went in for the fast-paced attack, and unfortunately their idea of using a contact play without smokes was good, but Doxer is just a bit too sharp in that angle.
I'm loving the crosshair placement from Doxer. I'm not gonna lie. Straight to the head, always just able to snap on the people. The only shots I've been seeing him hit are just those headshots with the Phantom. Best gun in the game.
Oh. There's no alarm bot towards mid this time. The alarm bot's placed towards B main. And nobody's marking mid for Aster Army either. This is kind of a red flag.
I don't like that too. I'm not a huge fan of that. The mid's completely just left open and no one's looking at mid. So that means if Metal do want to go for mid, they can easily go for it. But Aster Army, that's a nice little read coming out from their side. But Wink might just overcommit. There is a little spray, a little spam through the smoke. It's not going to find anything. Metal Esports, they're again going to lose out on a man. This gives them an early disadvantage. Still, it's a 4-on-3, or still it's a 4-on-5. It's doable.
Whoa, look at the one and done angle by Wink. He's not going to get checked over there. At least Metal Esports managed to dodge that 0 point, so the positions of the rest of the players are not known to Aster Army, but placement of smokes kind of tells you everything you need to know. And this position from Wink, like I said, it's not going to get checked. It's a very cheeky position. A very annoying one too if you're a Metal Esports fan. And now all of a sudden DC Rules finds himself all alone. He was hanging outside of A main waiting for his teammates to make their presence known towards a shot, and he would join them soon. That was the plan, but now it looks like he'll just join them in the afterlife, and Wink gets his ace.
Oh no.
Yikes.
Yeah. Aster Army, man. Oh, I know. This team is just so... Oh, you know, they know that the opponent team isn't playing on the full potential, so Aster Army is just messing around. 100%. This is not how Aster Army plays. They're not showing their true potential. What they're doing here is like, they're really just playing this like a normal casual game, and they're letting things just happen all by themselves, because which team lets the mid control just like that? We'll see if the mid control is taken. It's not going to be a problem.
A team that has a very good read on their opponents, that's who.
I really question that, right? Considering it's only been like, what, 2 or 3 rounds, and that also eco and anti-ecos?
Yeah, but there's so much... There's still so much history between these players. They know each other really well. And whether they know each other or not, they know that Aster Army is full of some absolute Giga Chats. Look at the aggression from Wing. He's just relentless.
Nice.
Refuses to back down. Finally, Fox puts his killing spree to an end.
One enemy remaining.
Coley just playing with his food. And Doxer's pushed up. He's way too low. Coley spotted, and Fox terminates him out the game. Eliminated. And Fox doesn't expect Doxer to be there. Oh my god, Aster Army. Someone needs to stop this team. The way they're showing the aggression, even on the defensive side, they just don't care. They're just able to shut down every single player just like that. And yeah, Aster Army. Wink. This man is just out of control right now.
Enemy remaining.
Obstacle removed.
Okay, message.
Sheesh. Doxer is on a roll. Is he close to 30? Yeah, he's really close to 30 frags.
Yep.
It's a big deal to drop a 20 bomb in a game like Valorant. 30 is just absolutely nuts. Back to defaults for MLT Esports. This time they're taking it slow. Drone towards mid, presence shown. A little bit of sound made towards B. So MLT Esports really want to convince Aster Army that they are all over the map. And this forces Aster Army to play a little defensively. Otherwise, you'd usually see Aster push towards B main or A main. Mostly towards A main. That's been their thing for the most part. And again, Wing tries to go for a similar peek. The flash was good, but DC Rules is better. Nalkaman committed. This really puts Aster Army in a shallow grave, and MLT Esports are converging upon them. Everybody's blind, everybody's dead, and the site belongs to MLT Esports. DC Rules exacting revenge for whatever he endured in the last few rounds.
Steps up huge for his team, and Tricky was there too. But he gets taken out. Now the Odin's going to come into play. Coley's all by himself. It's a 1-on-3 situation. It's got the Hunter's Fury available too, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want to use it. He would want to keep it sound and secure just for the upcoming rounds. And yeah, Easy is just going to take him out the game easily. MLT Esports, another round on the board, but the opponents already have a huge lead. They've got 11 rounds in the hands. All they need is 2 more rounds to pretty much seal the first map in their hands.
It's kind of unfortunate for goalie to be in a situation like this every single time. Man finds himself in these nearly impossible retake scenarios. That being said, if you're attacking B, then goalie is an absolute beast. Finally, the money on Aster Army starting to run out. They've got weapons in this round, but they probably won't be able to afford it one more time. Only Dominic has some sort of money, so he can afford something. MLT Esports though, taking it slowly. The orb capture allows Izzy to get that lockdown in his hands, but there's a counter lockdown available on Doxer, a Hunter's Fury on Coley as well. Every single team has so many impactful ultimates that they can use. The question is, who's going to use it first? Because there's always this weird tension between Killjoy and Soa players. You know, every one of them waiting for the Soa to use the Hunter's Fury first so that the lockdown is safe and vice versa. And that tension is just going to keep on building up.
Heavy presence on mid for now from Metal. The intentions are now starting to get a little bit more clearer. They want to execute the A site, but Wink is ready with the up! And he strikes for the first player down. The man who was going to open things up has already been struck down, but what a pop flash from Kishis finds one! And instantly you see Wink as well just trying to flow in and stop the tree control. He managed to just deal a little bit of damage, but he's not able to take the tree control back in his hands. Vikrant is going to be the last man left alive with a lot on his shoulders. And to pull off a little bit too much, maybe next to impossible. 3 players on the side, Vikrant all by himself. He's got HP, that's one thing. He's also got the Hunter's Fury rolling for him, if he wants to use it. But I'm pretty sure this clutch is quite tough. It's quite tough, he's only got 2 bullets, and Coley peeks out in the nick of time.
They knew that Vikrant was present somewhere towards a shot. Now, the remaining members of Aster Army just double up under Heaven. They know for a fact that it doesn't matter where Vikrant is, whether he comes in from tree or whether he comes in after climbing up Heaven. The only choice that he has is to peek them at the same time, and there's not a fight that he can win. That being said, though, I love the way Metal picked up the pace after Wink got that first blood. They try to bulldoze their way into the site, but there's just too many hurdles that they can check. And despite having 4 ultimates to boot, MLT Esports haven't used any of them. Finally, a Hunter's Fury does get committed by Kohli, and he's just blazing them.
Ooh.
Tearing them to shreds. The laser beams wreaking absolute havoc. And DC Rules once again in a clutch situation. This time with the spike not on his back.
DC Rules. Under the site, no one knows where this man is. Position's anonymous. And he has pulled off some insane shots in the past, and this clutch definitely isn't impossible for this man. It's a 1-on-3 situation. DC Rules, a lone wolf alive, lone wolf surviving on the site. Got from the shadows available too, so Crips, retrieving the spike isn't going to be that tough for this man. Just use the ability on it, and he will get the spike easily in his hands, but it's not going to matter because Kohli's going to shut him down before anything happens. And Aster Army, they take the first map in the hand as expected.
Aster Army, they started to struggle a little bit towards the end. I mean, of course, they went on with a flying start. They were dominating at the beginning of the game. And just when we thought that MLT Esports can stabilize themselves, they can get back on their feet, Aster Army knocked them back down. Smiles all across the board for this team. Kishi also stepping up so well. Man didn't have too many moments to make impact, but every time the onus of the round came onto his shoulders, he delivered.
Yeah.
Doxer, though, what a beast.
He went huge, demonic mode, and that's what I call a nuclear performance from Doxer. Crazy stuff being shown from, of course, both these times. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have the post-match segment going on right after the short commercial break.
Hit for my wings, I need my eggs. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came on the wings, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny.
other teams were like, let's just have a KO and fade together. So there's really no fixed best strat on a map like Pearl. So let's see how these teams can innovate.
Speaking of innovations, I mean, right now Fox is locked in the Viper, and even we are seeing Vipers come into play on the other side as well. So this is quite interesting, right? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, the viewers that are watching us on YouTube, welcome back to this entire game 2 that we're about to head inside. Because again, as we all know, the first game was taken by the players of Aster Army, but now the second map's going to be starting soon enough, which is of course Pearl. And as I said before too, we've got no solid information about Pearl because we haven't really seen these teams, you know, duke it out on the map of Pearl. But this is the first time we're going to see both of these teams going head on head against each other over here. As we do know, Aster Army is going to start things off on the defensive side, and we've got MLT Esports on the attacking side.
Jeez, dude. On the defensive side, this setup from Aster Army is such a pain to deal with. The Viper basically doubles up as a secondary sentinel on defense. Plus, then you've got two characters that can reveal information to Fade, and the KO can easily get all the info on Metal. So, really, all that Doctor and Dominic need to do is just play according to what info is provided to them. That being said, there is a man on MLT Esports who can make a difference, and that's going to be Hacker and Tricky. The flash and dash combination that these two guys can bring in is the only counter to Aster Army's heavy info setup.
Interesting. We're seeing Astra and Vipers on to play, so I really want to see this composition or this combination. How is it going to work out?
Yeah. I mean, there's a double controller setup on either side with Astra and Viper both, so let's see how these guys decide to treat with it. Way too much to deal with. Bit off a bit more than he could chew, and that's an instant death for him. But now look at the rotation from Doxa. He's looking to peek out of mid double doors, but he realizes that's a bit too much, so he's just going to let his alarm bot and nanoswarm stay there. Art still not reinforced from Aster Army, so the rotations aren't really there yet. But look at the amount of information that Aster Army has. They are falling back all the way, which gives MLT Esports so much room to work with.
They've already got the double doors control, and it seems like they're looking to just put a little stroll inside the link. And yeah, that's what exactly is going to happen. You've got Tricky moving in with the help of Hacker behind him. Of course, a little pop, flash, and dash combination to try and follow it up and to try and open some sites up over here. But they've already got the site control. A beautiful little Viper wall that comes into play. And Tricky manages to find one, but it's completely fine. The trades are going to happen back and forth, but in the favor of Metal. Now it's a 4-on-2 situation. The man gets spotted in mid. What a shot from Dominic. What was that?
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts. There was no way he was supposed to win that one. And this puts Dominic in such an awkward spot. Yes, that was a lovely shot, but he was so far away from his teammates, he would never have been able to trade things out. And now that the odds are stacked against him, what can he possibly do? No stars to work with either. It's basically a done and dusted deal. Time's already gone, and with it, the hopes of Aster Army as well. And there you have it. Lovely adaptation from MLT Esports. The moment they got that first kill towards Art, they took a step back. They now knew that there's so many options available to them, and it would force Aster Army to make a lot of awkward rotations because nobody's willing to reinforce Art. You're still doubling down towards B-Link, especially now that there's a lot of presence being shown from double door. And then Aster Army just did the best thing that they could, reinforce the sites and let mid stay open. Of course, that was a gamble, and the gamble did not pay off.
I like the start from Metal. They really do need this type of solid starts, these type of solid kick starts inside the game to try and get the mental back in. Just overall look confident, easy, nice shots, but unfortunately gets traded out. They've already got the Vandal into play here. Bulldogs too. Of course, it's an anti-eco, so as expected, we're going to expect the players of Metal to take this one home. But hopefully, they're not going to lose out on a lot of players. That's what matters, because if there's a dent being made, then that's going to cost them quite a lot in the upcoming rounds. MLT Esports, they've got a Marshall, which can deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially when you're on either no shields or half shields. Wrong time to reload, but hey, at least it's fine, you know. Dominic has a gun, but there's not much that he can do to either defuse the spike, and he's about to get double peaked now.
I'm not gonna lie, Fox almost lost the duel.
Yeah,
almost. Hey, yeah, go ahead.
This Viper wall from the defender's side, it's kind of a dead giveaway about your intentions. When you put a wiper wall this aggressively, which covers both the shop side and the top of mid, it kind of tells you that Aster Army really want to fight mid, so all that Metal really have to do is hold their defaults and wait for the Aster aggression. And this time again, the defensive wall from Kohli, it's been changed. He's put it towards a long instead. This is more of a standard wall. You know, we've seen these kind of wiper toxin walls before. But the one in the previous round, the one that he used on mid, now that's a little bit rarer.
Alarm bot on the A main,
okay.
as you can see, for some early information. They've also made the scan clear. 0 point was utilized, so that means now they know there's no one near A spawn, A main, and as you can see, instantly the players are now starting to push up from the defensive side.
And this is good because if Aster Army have A main control, and if somehow Metal decide to go towards the A site via Art, they will not be able to take these post-plan positions. But that alarm bot is really going to screw up the plan for Aster Army. Now Metal Esports have an idea about the repositioning, so they can continue to hit the A site and then fall back. You can see from the positioning of the spike that Metal have no intention of committing just yet. They just want to make Aster Army over-rotate, and it seems like they've been quite successful in doing so.
They indeed have been. I mean, the fray's been opened up, and that's all they really needed. Wink's being taken down. One of the players who was the difference maker inside the previous game is not in this game or inside this round anymore. So that's quite huge. They've taken away a big difference maker here. But still, the Fate's alive, and he's also got the Fate reveal up in his hands, which he can try and utilize. And Kishi, with the 3K, might just save the day for his team. But what are shots? Oh, those shots were disgusting from Tricky. But indeed, he will be chained to the ground, and he won't be able to do anything anymore.
Yeah, Tricky almost clutched it out for his team. It's kind of unfortunate, you know, because Metal knew everything that was happening, but they only expected Kishi to be there. They did not expect Dominic also to be present. And then when they both revealed themselves, their whole game plan just kind of got ruined because there's nowhere safe to plant. The only place where you could have planted is towards the back of site, which is more exposed towards Spot and the dugout. And because your Aster is already dead, there's no way to block out that region as well. So Aster Army, they played this round to perfection, even though their plans were detected early on.
Aster Army, even though they got the previous round, but still a lot of damage was dealt onto them. That's why you can see the light buys coming in from their side. It's not a complete buy from them, but Tricky on the other hand, as always, he's able to just open up the flow for his team. They're also going to get the spike plant down, but a nice little snake bite just tossed inside. The player's taking up quite a lot of damage. Hacker's taken down to half HP, but it's completely fine as long as they get the plant down. And now every single player's posted up for the post plants.
If DC Rules gets one more frag, he's going to have the Cosmic Divide ready. And that's quite important in a round like this. Kohli doesn't have anything to help out his teammates, but this Nightfall might just help them get inside as he's been detected. But the Nanoswarms burn Kishi alive, and he's holding his ground. He doubles up, and this man's an absolute beast. Ooh. A menace to deal with. Dominic finally steps up for his team, but he's already on the defuse code. He's got it halfway through. Now the Cosmic Divide comes through and it actually destroys their cross. Dominic still able to hold on, but Fox finally puts the final nail in the coffin. Whew. That was
I'm not
way
sure.
too close for comfort.
Yeah, way too close. I'm not sure what Dominic was doing over there. His job was to cover the diffuser. But Dominic, unfortunately, decided to... I don't even know what he was trying to do there. Was he trying to push up, or was he just holding? It was interesting. You see right here, Dominic was playing on the edge, and then he wasn't able to cover the diffuser, and that's why his player died, and then they just lost the complete round. But again... it's completely fine, though. It's still just the start of this game. And Metal Esports, so far, they've had a nice little start. They've had a fiery start for themselves. A little technical timeout being utilized from the opponent team, Aster Army, because they're being tackled now.
Yeah, they are indeed being tackled. All their aggressive attempts to take control of A main at the start or mid at the start is just simply not resulting in any advantages whatsoever. Metal Esports are avoiding those areas like the plague. And then when Metal Esports hit the P site, it just seems like it's so easy for them. Maybe this is the chink in their armor. Maybe Metal Esports have found it already. Now the question remains, do Aster adapt to fill this gap in B? Or do they adapt to play even more aggressively on A and mid, something that they've been already doing? Will they reinforce their plan A, or will they reinforce the B site? This Viper wall that Kohli has put up, look at this once again. It allows the members of Aster to just walk out of arts, walk out of double doors, and then what they will do is just suddenly drop the Viper wall, and then there will be a contact play all of a sudden. But this time
it's a B
it just
stack.
seems, it's a stack towards B. MLT Esports are heading into a trap.
They're not heading in towards the trap, but again, they still got the guns advantage, so they can try to rely on that. They still got the long-range weapons, and Tricky, as always, is able to shut down Doxer. That was a nice little 0 point, so that means at least for now, Blade Storm's going to be nullified, but it's not going to matter. Tricky's got the Vandal in play, and he's going to make it run. He's going to make every single player bleed from Aster Army. They're being punished like it's nothing, and Kohli is the last glimmer of hope alive inside this game, inside this round. Only a classic in the hand, so he's not going to do anything.
Hey, but at least Aster Army stacked up the correct side, so even though they lost, it kind of tells you that they have a good read on what MLT Esports will go for. And why wouldn't MLT Esports go for B? They found plenty of success over here. You know that old saying,
Yep.
If it's not broken, don't fix it. So I think that MLT Esports will continue to exploit this B side again and again.
Yeah, I mean, once again, why that was a good read is because, they knew that MLT Esports, they have the long-range weapons, and it would make sense for them to approach the B-long area more. Because once you've got the long-range weapon, you can easily take head-on-head collisions and just destroy the people that are on the eco round.
Yeah. Trailblazer used, but hey, there's not too much commitment on the back of it. On the other hand, Aster Army, look at the positioning from Wink. He's gone all the way towards the top of B. He now acts like an early warning system, and it confirms that this lockdown that's been placed by Metal, it is indeed a full commitment. Except they're not all towards A main, they're mostly towards A, an area which Aster Army have given up in the past, and it's really hurting them.
Fox was watching the flank for quite a long time, and you can also see Wink closing up from such a long time now. He's taken a lot of time already. But the problem is, the rotation might just be a little too late. The spikes went down, even the Viper's pit activated. Aster Army, they're now in true trouble. To retake this site, they're going to need a lot to deal with. And MLT Esports, what is this, Tricky? Are you kidding me? Oh, I know he was caught up in an awkward situation. He had the knife in the hand, but should have tried to pull out the gun. Maybe he would have stood a chance.
No, at least he went for that flank, which is good. You know, it keeps the remaining members of Aster Army at bay. At one hand, Aster Army are trying to poke and prod towards flower pots and tag out, trying to get their way into the site. And on the other hand, Aster are also aware that Metal might just go for a reflank. They have the bandwidth, they have the members alive to do so, and they had art control all the time, so it would make sense that MLT Esports would send someone down water and try to get that kill. And look at the smile on Tricky. Yes, he knows he made a boo-boo, but does he care? Absolutely not.
He knew the round's pretty much secured. And that's what I was worried about too, right? I was like, okay, one of the players from the side of Aster is a little too late on that flank. He was too late, actually. Not a little too. He was way too late. Wink was flanking all the way from the B-long side when the spike was already planted, and even the Viper's pit were utilized. So I pretty much knew that flank's going to be almost next to impossible to execute, because at that time, even the defenders are going to be playing on the post-plant situations, and they're going to be aware of the flanks, and they would be taking a look at their backlines. So that's why the flank didn't really come into play that well. But now you've got every single player once again just stacking outside A-long, at least for now. They're heavily stacked outside A-long, so that means the intentions are quite clear. They want to go inside the A site. They should take a little bit of time, and Easy finds the opening. Oh, they should not give these type of openings just like that. Tricky finds another one, but Dominic now all by himself on the side. Way too many players to deal with, and what? He unfortunately locked onto his own teammate.
Oh, this is such a different Aster Army from what we saw in Ascent. You know, in Ascent also, there were instances where Aster Army did not have certain areas of the map reinforced. And that was fine, because not rotating on time was not being punished by Metal. But now it seems like almost every single time Aster Army are forced to pick up individual fights.
Yeah, look at this right here. You can clearly see Aster Army are just struggling with the communication. Dominic was all by himself. He took down the first man, but unfortunately, he snapped onto his own teammate, which was Doxer, because he thought that there's going to be someone present in the arc side too. But Doxer, I think so, did not communicate well and said that I'm going to be closing in from arch. So that was a little problem. If that was not the case, maybe there was a chance that the player on the side, Dominic, could have taken down another one.
Well, at least this time Aster have some sort of early information. The 0 point does detect multiple people. But does that mean that this information can be credible? Absolutely not. MLT Esports, they reveal a couple of players and then they fall back towards mid. They've only left Fox in this position. And of course, Fox can be their on-ground eyes and ears. He's just going to wait for a bait. The rest of MLT Esports trying to make contact plays towards mid. And Kishi's in for a rude surprise.
Everyone's just being so quiet.
I know, right? You can hear the pin drop.
Sneaky approach, really sneaky approach. Are going for the arts control. 3 players available. Then you see 2 players now slowly and steadily rolling up on the A main, but they've got Kisha to deal with. And Kisha is going to cause a lot of problems, that's for sure. Even if one player gets spotted right here on the A main, it's going to cause a lot of issues for Aster. And yeah, now the A execute started, and MLT Esports, they're going to get an easy stroll on the site. Easily were able to get the site control in the hand, and now Aster will need to play this a little bit more cautious. Because the site's taken away, that means Aster, if they are on an eco, so the only main motive for them here is to try and deal as much damage as possible and get the guns off of their hands.
Yeah, but will they be able to do so? It seems unlikely. Dominic's got this one Guardian in his hands, but then again, how much can he possibly do? I mean, even if you do economic damage... Oh, yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. How much can you possibly do? Even if Dominic wins that fight, even if he kills every single member of MLT Esports, Metal don't care. They've got way too much money. I mean, some of these players are on max credits. They've got 9k bucks. So... there's really not much that you can do to break the economy of Metal now. The only thing that you can do is fix your rotates. Because Aster are rotating a little too slowly. Of course, that is wise of them to err on the side of caution, because MLT Esports also have the potential to give up these areas and go for these fakes. But Aster had such a good read on them on Ascent. It's hard to believe that this is the same team on Pearl.
Aster are just having a lot of synergy issues. I'm going to be straight up here.
Yeah. Synergy issues that did not exist in the previous game.
True that. I mean, Aster was just straight up just rolling in, right? They were just taking the control whatever they want. But it's not this game, man. MLT Esports is just like a complete new face.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. This game's getting quite entertaining, too. We're seeing some shenanigans being pulled out from these players. And we like to see a bit of variety, but look at this sort of situation. They're playing on this, and they're playing on this flash peek. Wink was able to find one, but the trade's there. Fortunately enough, Vikron's going to be able to trade things out, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. DC Rules taken down, and Wink being taken down, so that means no KO and no Aster inside the game anymore.
Well, Fox was on this flank since a very long time, and he finally makes contact. But now that Kishi's gone down, MLT Esports have all these options, and Aster Army is confused because they saw Metal towards Art, they saw them towards double doors. Where is the actual assault coming?
30 seconds left.
Aster don't know. And unfortunately, they will not find out until the spike goes down.
Get them. Rotation as well is now starting to show up slowly and steadily. They're still second doubting themselves because they don't exactly know where the spike's being planted. Finally, the spike goes down as well. Instantly utilizes the lockdown too. The turret's going to give his position away. But what? Oh, I thought Fox might just die here because he whiffed the first initial burst, but eventually shuts down the man. Lockdown shut down. Kohli is going to go for a little fake, but eventually gets spotted out playing near Screen's area. Fox, all he needs to do is just try and waste the time. But Fox is feeling himself, so he peeks out and shuts down the final man to MLT Esports. They're just rolling through the map of Pearl. None of us saw this coming.
Absolutely not. And even if MLT Esports had some difficulty in that retake situation, they had so many insurance policies. There was a flank coming in from Ezzy. Of course, the timing was a little unfortunate because he got taken down by Kohli over there. He just missed it by a second. And then, even if Ezzy's flank failed, Fox went up with the aggression to break that lockdown. You wouldn't expect that kind of aggression, especially when MLT Esports have not only the man advantage, but also the ability to fall back all the way down towards the top of B main, towards the top of B ramp, and just avoid the lockdown altogether. Wow.
Speaking about... Ooh, okay. Well, we're going to have a little fiery start to this round. Aster Army, they know the defensive approach, the passive approach isn't working out for them, so might as well take the fight right to their faces. They did so. And once again, started off with a little trade. Fate's going to be the cost over here for Aster Army, so that means one info gathering agent's not going to be inside the game anymore, which is completely fine, though. They've still got the KO live and active. Wink and Kohli, they're going to make a push together, but unfortunately, they're not going to expect Fox to just wait right there. Pop flash, peek out, Fox hears it, and he will peek out once again. And oh my god, MLT Esports. What is going on? How is Aster Army not able to find a cure for this? How are they not able to find a kryptonite?
I mean, losing out duels to Fox like that is one thing, but even though Aster Army were playing two people towards a main, it's surprising that they wouldn't peak together. So it's these basic errors, the avoidable ones, that's really taking Aster Army down. It's weighing them down. You know what they say about ships and water, right? Ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets inside. And right now, MLT Esports are living inside the heads of Aster Army, rent-free.
These picks, man, they're just being so poisonous for them. Aster Army, as I said, they're trying to pull off some shenanigans. They know things aren't really working out, so they're trying to bring a little mixture of strategies. But this mixture is just proven against them. 9-1 is the scoreline. And this half is just something that might just be so devastating for Aster Army. They've got 3 ultimates available. The Nightfall, even the Cosmic Divide, and the Null Command. If they do want to utilize this one, and I'm pretty sure they're at least going to utilize one of those inside this game, or inside this round. Kohli in quite an interesting position. He's standing in an off angle. Is he going to get checked? That's my question. The man's moved in quite close. Kohli finds one, but that's all he's going to get. He needs to be satisfied with just that one. And look at this aggressive approach. Fox instantly just pushes in through the smoke.
Ooh, but hold on. Aster Army still have some backup policies. Look at the positioning from them. While there is a lot of firepower that Wink brings to the table on A, Meryl don't know that he's the only one present over here. And Doxer's push in towards mid will go undetected. He's able to hear the footsteps of Meryl rotate in, but there's one guy right behind him.
What?
Wow, this is insane. And now Doxer will find out that Vikrant is all the way back there. Imagine what would have happened if they just walked right past each other. Would have been like two ships just sailing in the night past each other. And it would have been disastrous for both of them. Dominic, though, you can feel his temptation. He wants to peek. You can feel it beckoning to his name. And Tricky finally puts his killing spree to an end. And Doxer, Mr. Consistent, steps up one more time.
Teamwork making the dream work for them, Fox. He's got the lurk for him. But is he going to find any value? It's going to be shut down. No value being found from that lurk. Doxer steps up huge for his team. They at least get the second round on the board. But they've already... The opponent team already has a huge lead secure, and they've also got a lot of economy to play with, so that one little loss is not going to hinder them at all. And consider this, guys. Consider this. They're not even playing with their main playing 5. They're playing with some substitutes. Imagine if they had all the playing 5 available. MLT Esports could have just had a steamroll.
Yeah, that would have been yeah, it would have been a completely different beast. One loss by not being able to plant the spike was fine, but hey, now at least Aster Army know that even Fox is capable of lurking around. Oh, Dominic, he just saw death flash before his eyes. Like, you peek out and there's like 3 people waiting for you. That's your cue to get the hell out of dodge.
There we go. Nice little trailblazer out. The information's gathered. They know there's one player exactly on the side, right behind the pillar. Nightfall's available, and Aster Army, they're going to utilize the Nightfall. Maybe also use the Prowlers too to try and chase down the players. Just cause a little bit more distraction. Goalie was there to try things out. That was a nice little team play coming in. Teamwork makes the team work, that's for sure. But now the lockdown's going to cause a lot of problems, and Kishi gets detained. Definitely not a good news, but it's a 3-on-4 situation in which Aster, they have a huge advantage. This might just be a 9-3 half.
Oh no. They've got all the cool positions and no utility to block out the vision of MLT Esports. As he gets a kill with the turret.
my
Now
God,
that should
what?
tell you all you need to know. Aster not in control of this at all. I did like their idea of putting that Cosmic Divide up early so that their opponents cannot go in for the plant, but do MLT care about that? No, they do not. They push in with the lockdown, they use a Cosmic Divide of their own, and they just dig that spike deep into the ground. Bury it. And because the Cosmic Divide from Aster Army was already used up, they can't use it in post-plant. And this means MLT Esports are free to just hang back towards the top of B ramp and play their post-plant positions with not a care in the world.
So ladies and gentlemen, I mean the first half is being completely just dominated by MLT Esports, and none of us saw this coming. It's a huge surprise. But ladies and gentlemen, before we move on towards the second half, we're going to take a short little commercial break.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai, and we are going to be jumping inside the second half soon, but the first half, a completely unexpected story. 10-2 half crips.
Exactly right, and this is not the Aster Army that I expected to see today. Of course, if you want to see this game with zero delay, head over to our English stream on Loco. You can see it live. But that being said, Aster Army now are staring down the face of defeat. The only way from here is up, but MLT Esports just want to smack this right down and push this to game number 3. Defensive setup from MLT, quite spread out, right? They've got early control towards A main with the Jet and Sky just playing together. Tried to get those early picks, but Astra never offered them the fight, so it's fine. And hence they now choose to reinforce Art. There's a little bit of KJ util present towards the mid double door region and only one player on B side, so that's fine. But as soon as Astro try to peek out of mid, Tricky blows open Doxer's skull. That's the MVP taken down.
Huge impact frag right there. Doxer not inside the game anymore. I mean, the second half start is not the start that the players of Astra really do want, and now they're going to start to get inside the site too. Ooh, nice little connections found on the grunt. And he will be shut down as well, so Hacker's not going to be in the game anymore. Still, the trades are happening back and forth, but no, MLT Esports, they are just shutting down everything the players of Aster are trying to bring to the table.
And this really just feels like an orchestrated round from MLT Esports, right? They take control of A long first. They don't find anything, so they fall back. And what do Aster Army do? They walk down that exact same path which MLT tried to clear up. And the moment Aster placed those smokes, they placed one towards Flopos, the other one towards the A-Link region. It kind of tells you that Aster have no semblance of art control, so MLT have no hesitation rotating in quickly. They don't even bother double-checking the angles. MLT Esports know for a fact that Aster Army has no mid-presence, so they can move in, giving all the footsteps away, moving at the speed of light. This time, though, a little different approach from Aster Army. They try to go for a contact play, towards double door. No flash utilized. It's only the turret that spots them. One-way smoke pushes them back, and it's just time being burnt.
got a slow start, considering it's just an eco round for the players of Aster. But they know the importance of this round. Already 11 rounds are given away, and they don't want to give another one too to this enemy team.
Wow.
Vandals are into play, so that means it's going to be tough to take this man down. And what a play! Oh! Fox comes in huge. But again, these are just those eco frags. Dominic's on to 60 HP. And he had another round on the board for Aster. For Metal, my bad, against Aster. So, again, I mean, this was just the eco round, but what are we going to expect much, right? All you need is just one more round to pretty much seal the deal on the map of Pearl. And Metal, I got to say, man, they've definitely won my heart.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. They have redeemed themselves for whatever mistakes they made in Ascent. This just seems like an overcorrection, a gross overcorrection. And now Aster Army need to rethink their approach. The crossfire between the two players over there, Fox and his teammate towards A-Link, was not the strongest, but they were just trying to play off of timing with each other. And this tells Aster Army that, hey, maybe we can try B. There's not too much potential for building crossfires over there. They've got that early frag as well, so this really pushes Tricky back. Can he at least take one frag before he goes down inevitably? That's going to be a good question. The Prowler bites him in the face, but he still connects. Good stuff.
Yeah, and also manages to connect the second bullet on the second player, so that means even he's hurt 101. Aster Army, they've got the site control. The post plant's now going to be looking a little easier for them, considering they also have the man's advantage. Nothing taken away, though. Vandal and Phantoms are in play, even on the other side. So Aster will need to play this one safe. They cannot be too complacent. Fox has got a nice little flank going on. Hopefully they've got a read on this flank. But Fox so far has managed to sneak up all the way in. And now he's also made his presence on the B main. Fox slowly and steadily crawling up and finds the opening. That's a huge one too. That's going to be the equalizer. Now the trades are starting to happen back and forth. And it's a 2-on-2. Make it a 1-on-2 now. MLT Esports, the odds are stacked against them, at least for now. But Aster, they sealed the deal, and Goalie's there to save the day.
Woo. That was a close one. It was a good call from the attackers to play towards the back of B halls. They knew for a fact that there's going to be a flank coming in from B main, and they have no KJ util to detect it, so they would much rather take their chances, trading each other out towards the B halls. And yes, Fox brought it very close. Brought it down to the wire, but Kohli playing this angle. It should have been a one and done, you know, when you play Fridge like that, especially when you're waiting for your Toxin screen to give you cover. If it goes down early, you are exposed from Heaven, you're exposed from Link. But somehow he's able to isolate the 1v1s and keep his team alive for one more round. But is that going to be enough?
Oh! Doxer. How does he find these openings, man? But it's fine, though. They've still got Hacker in play. And these type of moments, man, Metal, they really do want a fiery start for the second half. They're trying to take the fight against their opponents. Aster Army, on the other hand, I clearly do know they've got a huge disadvantage considering the opponent. All they need is one more round. But they cannot keep on giving up rounds like these, because these type of rounds will keep on giving them little confidence boosters. And so far, that's what exactly is happening. Switches on over to the Classic. Questionable decision.
And that's fine. I mean, it was not a round that Metal was supposed to win in the first place. It's just a Nico, and it's not like they cared about it either. They've got map point. Haven looks an inevitability at this point. And unless Aster Army can pull off the impossible, we are going to the triple-sided map. The question is, how much can Aster Army put up? How much willpower do they have before it eventually breaks? MLT Esports have the potential to end it right here and now. There's a massive Viper ult available on Fox, so he can lock down a site with it. To counter it, there's a Nightfall available on Kishi, but how much can you possibly do?
Whew, that was a close one.
Yeah.
The bullet just whizzes past him. If that was connected, that could have given a huge advantage that Metal were looking out for. But at least now the information's given away, right? Aster, no, they've got the operator in play. There's also a little Blade Storm available. And again, Aster Army just really taking a slow and a cautious approach inside this one. A nice little Viper's Pit too, just to play with the opponent's minds. So Fox, at least for now, is able to deny that mid control.
And it's quite surprising that Metal are playing this way. You would expect that if there's a Viper's pit present on one part of the map, you would reinforce the other part of the map with all your bodies, but instead, there's still a 3-stack from Metal towards the A site. Contrary to popular belief, Aster Army would expect the B site to be stacked, right? So they're gonna take their chances. The prospect limit goes up.
30 seconds
That will
left.
make sure nobody can peek at them. The Nightfall also committed,
Spike
but the
down
spike
A.
isn't on B. This is a massive fake, but Tricky cannot be fooled. He sees this coming from a mile away and he's positioned to stop them in their tracks. Gets the angle, and now he's got the Blade Storm too. This man is impossible to stop. Finally, as he
remaining.
plucks him off midair, but
10 seconds
it
left.
is down to Doxer. Last few seconds left. And it's done, ladies and gentlemen. The coach kills a student to deliver us map number 3.
Oh boy. Metal Esports, they secure the second map in their hands. None of us, I mean, I'm going to say it once again. I personally did not expect this type of a scoreline in front of us. And yeah, of course, they deserve to be happy, considering they're not even playing with their playing 5 and they're still able to make such a huge impact on the stage. Aster Army, they really need to start thinking about what went wrong over here, because this is massive. As a team like Aster Army, you cannot let these type of defeats just slide.
Yeah, you cannot let them slide, especially when they are the kind of defeats where you really did get outbrained tactically. I mean, at least in a sense, you could blame the few losses to timing, you could blame it to trades and aim, but this time you could clearly see there's a massive difference in the playstyle of these two teams, and Metal Esports clearly a step ahead on Pearl tactically. Can they bring up the same tactical supremacy in Haven? We'll find out after a short break.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
I know my destiny. 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 I know my destiny.
going to jump inside the Agent Select and our cute little YouTube audience. Welcome back, guys, inside the Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai. We love you guys, and you guys are cuties. But for now, let's focus on this Agent Select as we do move on over towards it. We've got Easy on the Killjoy, just like we saw him on Ascent too, if I'm not wrong. He was playing the Killjoy. DC rolls on Omen, pretty much the similar sort of composition.
Yeah, a similar composition. You have Kohli on Sova, Wink on Jet, Doxer on Killjoy. Dominic was doing well on Astra. The main difference is the presence of Breach, which is kind of expected in a map like Haven, but the fact that both these teams opted to pick up the Breach kind of tells you that these are going to be very execute-based styles. Can there be a similar level of lurking as there was in Ascent? Doxer was an absolute pain in the side for MLT Esports in Ascent because he was lurking like an absolute god. In Pearl, of course, that onus of lurking came on to MLT Esports, where they had sometimes Ezzy in the back line, sometimes they had Tricky, who would start the game off as a duelist, as the spear of the team, but then his team would just leave him there, and then now the duelist turns into your lurker. So instances like those were quite common across the previous game.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Aster Army on the attacking side and MLT Esports on defending. And let's see, Aster Army this time on the attacking, if they are able to start off with a great lead, because they need that to gain the confidence back. Nice little Breach starting to follow it up, and now unfortunately they're also going to get the counter Tremor, so that means to counter that one it's going to be a little tough. Aster needs to play this one a little slow. They cannot just straight up make their presence known inside the site. DC rules and his teammate to have a nice little crossfire setup inside the garage area, and Easy has managed to lure out one player. They're not going to be able to do anything behalf of that.
Oh no, the advantage secured for MLT Esports, but they lose at the moment Doxer takes off another head of Trickery. He's reinforcing the angle. Spike dropped over there, then MLT Esports really want to crunch Aster down towards this double door, and they're successful in doing so. It's up to Doxer. The man who made it look possible now has to make it all on his own.
Oh no, he's getting flanked. He's getting flanked from the back, from the window. But thank God the position's given away because of his turret. So Doxer knows there's one guy present inside the window area. Nice little shot. The haircut's gonna hurt him. And Doxer with only 30 HP. This seems quite possible, but the flick from Easy is gonna shut him down directly on the head.
Oh, that was too close. I like the approach from Aster Army over here. They tried to blitzkrieg their way into the B side, and you know, in most of these pistol rounds you will see the defensive team either playing super aggressively towards a long or a short, but you wouldn't expect such rotations from MLT to come in towards the B side this early. I mean, what did Aster do? They just basically waited for the Sova util, right? They used the shock touch to break any KJ util that might have been towards the mouth of B, and then the recon down. That's it. And then they send their jet in, but what do they find in return? 3 players from MLT waiting for them on either side of Link, one on top, and Aster Army just noped out of there real soon. It was easy for MLT to readjust to the garage push, but this time MLT are showing no signs of aggression. Except for that aggro push from Hacker towards a shot, there's really no forward positioning from MLT, but that makes sense, you know, MLT have the superior advantage. They can just use the guns to maintain crossfires. They have no obligation to go for these early fights.
Such a quiet round, such a slow start to this round. And I'm not a huge fan of what Kishi is trying to pull off here. I mean, yeah, it is just a little eco round from their side, but he's already caught a lot of damage. He's already caught a lot of hurt. DC rolls, reloads in the wrong time. And he will need to pay the price for that. Instantly, the Spectre's being picked up by the attackers. And now they're going to have a quick site take on the C. They've got the site take. They've also got the post plant now ready for them. And look at how aggressive Aster are playing.
Yeah. And Aster, they're not only playing aggressively, but they've also recovered the weapons. Man advantage secured too. No effort of a backstab by MLT Esports, so now they might just lose the momentum that they worked so hard to acquire in the pistol round, and Aster pump the brakes. They push all the way towards the defender's spawn, leaving Tricky all by himself, and he's got very little chance of pulling this one off. Aster bring the momentum right back. And what does it come down to? just the timing of these two breaches just using their stuns on each other.
Pretty much. And if I'm not wrong, that was supposed to be a thrifty round too, right?
Yeah. This might just have been the first thrifty of the entire series.
Exactly, the first ever thrifty of this entire series, and the most needed one too, and also on the map of Haven. So this is going to give them a lot of confidence, Crips, the confidence they really needed. And now this is where troubles are probably going to start knocking the doors of MLT Esports. Nothing taken away though. They have been doing quite phenomenal, and look at this B stack. They've got 3 players present on the B side. A side is just completely given away like that.
Yeah. MLT Esports just really playing Jack in the Box. Any Aster Army member who's curious enough to venture into this area will be, let's just say, meeting a very, very brutal form of death. And it seems like it's gonna be Doxer. Just walking across. The drone's already been used by Aster Army to clear a shot, and the spike will most likely make its way uncontested towards the A side. But now it just comes down to Doxer. How much damage can he do? If he can get like a couple of frags on these eco weapons, he'll farm up his lockdown very quickly. And this was a trend that Doxer showed us in the previous maps. He was farming up that lockdown really early on, but this time he just has his head taken off. Weapon recovered.
Doxer's job was to pretty much just lurk in that round, but he unfortunately gets spotted out, so now their lurk is pretty much sniffed out, and they've also got a little gun retrieved in their hands. So Tricky's on a Vandal, and we know Tricky's been able to pull off some insane shenanigans, some insane plays. So that man's going to be now like a huge threat, a huge problem. Flash to start off the take, and Kishi's there on the site. Will shut down the one, but Fox is able to connect these insane shots. Another player on the backside, and it's going to be shut down as well. Wink is not going to be able to stay alive to see another day. Shock darts out from his side, and Kohli connects one. The second one will take down Vikrant. Is not going to be able to stay alive anymore, but Fox is still up. Halfway, it's done, but Kohli is really aggressive.
A heroic effort from Kohli to save this round. I like the adjustment from MLT Esports. They just went in for the flank, all of them coming in from either a short or a long, and this kind of forces Aster Army to push all the way out towards defender's spawn. Now, if Aster Army hadn't done that, if they decided to just hold on to their normal post-plan positions, this would have been a round that MLT Esports get every day and twice on a Sunday. Kohli from Heaven just playing fiddle with MLT Esports. That's not a position you would expect someone to be in. And it's such a powerful one too. This time MLT really taking the aggression into their own hands. Send Tricky down towards the B window. Not something that MLT have done before. And from this position, Tricky can hear all the footsteps of Aster. He's going to be their early warning system.
I mean, even so far, no footsteps are given away from the side of Aster too. Even they themselves are playing it quite cautiously, quite slow. You can see everyone's just shift walking even from the side of Aster. So there's not a lot of info being gained from Tricky here. They've got no clue, but Easy's jump spotting on C long. And I don't think so. He knows that there's anyone on C long. He decided to fall back, but eventually comes back again. And now definitely the sound cues are given away. And now definitely the info is given away. And look at Tricky. This flank is huge. No one's going to expect this flank, but do they hear him? That's my question. Hunter's Fury was out from Kohli, but hands are too busy. And Tricky takes an advantage of that. Shuts him down. Dominic finds the kill. But is that going to be the difference maker? Ooh, what a paranoia. Blinds all 3 of them, but Wink has still managed to stay alive.
Teleports across the other side. DC Rules is gonna surprise Wink in a very rude way. Lovely adjustment from MLT Esports. That flank was way too soon. You wouldn't expect that so early in the round. And because of that flank, look at the amount of rotations that MLT Esports are able to pull. Every single defensive member onto the C side already. And then Aster Army just find themselves in this long, treacherous corridor called C long. And even the most steadfast and stoic players often tremble when they walk down this treacherous path.
I understand they were trying to rely on Doxer's turret right there to catch the flank, but
yeah, no.
It never crossed their mind that someone might have pushed a main, and that's what happened. The turret was placed in quite a questionable spot. That's why usually the turret's placed a little backwards to catch the flanks as well. But yeah, it was right on the face of Garage.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
at least that turret lets you have a little bit more breathing room. Oh my god, but speaking of breathing room, it's Tricky who's struggling to catch a breath. So much util thrown at him and he doesn't get much, but at least DC Rules and Vikrant are able to capture something.
No.
Fox tries to capitalize on the advantage, but ends up losing his life. And yet again, there's a massive flank. It's Ezzy on the back lines again.
One enemy remaining.
Two players closing in from the back, and now they've also got Hacker to deal with, who's managed to close up from short. And Doxer's the last man up. Another round in the favor of Metal. They're looking pretty good so far on the defensive half. And they can try to rely on this momentum they've got a little bit over here. They've got 3 rounds in the hand. They've also got 1 round's lead. They can definitely try to convert it into more.
Flanks upon flanks by MLT Esports, just really making Aster Army sweat. And these are not the kind of flanks that you expect late in the round. You know, they're so early. It might even force Aster Army to play their defaults for an extended amount of time. I'm kind of concerned about this, you know. Wink is a little too aggressive. Of course, he gets punished. No trading potential there.
Wink gets taken down, early advantage, and that's also the duel is taken away. So that means the man who was supposed to clear space for you on the site is not available anymore. The recon drone was out too. He was able to find one. And keep this thing in mind, Easy still has the lockdown available, so for them to take this take is not going to be tough. Unfortunately for Hacker, and unfortunately for even Coley, they've got no Hunter's Fury available, so this cannot be a lockdown counter, and that's a little problematic for both the sides. And as soon as the lockdown's utilized, I think so the counter lockdown should be used too.
Yeah, with both the lockdowns committed, it's now up to either side to destroy it. And yes, of course, the util from Aster Army is successful in breaking the other lockdown. It also gets them the kills, but Tricky is untamed, uncontested. Doxer did so much to give his team the edge, but he finds himself in these difficult situations again, and it's very awkward for him. At least he's able to see Tricky across, but nah, they just double peek him. Sheesh. It's amazing how Aster Army were able to break that lockdown too. They just used the util so well.
Perfectly done, honestly. The take was perfect. The setup for the post plan as well was looking pretty nice, but as soon as Tricky found that jump down kill onto Coley, he knew that Coley was taken down way too low. All he needs to do is just connect a few initial bullets, and he did so. So Coley was instantly shut down on that under heaven side, so they knew the take's not going to be that tough. But on the other hand, now Hacker's finally got his hands on the Hunter's Fury that he can use. But it'd be better if he just saves it.
And he doesn't even have to wait for a lockdown to be placed so he can save it for that or something. He can just use it very aggressively. Wink moving in. Hustling through the utility, unbothered. He doesn't care. Fox tries to kill the planter, and there's even a Hunter's Fury committed to make sure that the spike doesn't go down.
Okay, I'm honestly a little disappointed with the team play of Aster because his teammate made a huge space inside the site. His teammate's job is to try and help him create that space, but every single one was just behind that smoke. So it was pretty much like the duelist over there, Wink, was just baited in there. And how can you expect just a solo man to get the plant down when you've got no teammates backing him up? So that's a questionable approach coming out from their side. Of course, Trick could end things off with a collateral, but as I said, Crips, it's really questionable. Aster, you guys are supposed to help him and protect him.
I think what they were trying to do is just make sure that Wink can get the plant down and dash away. Now, in the position that they were holding inside the smoke, ideally, they would have been able to cover Wink, but the Hunter's Fury just forced them a step back. And while even the Hunter's Fury would not have been the final nail in the coffin, the fact that there's a man on MLT Esports who physically runs down to shoot Wink, that is what drove the final nail in the coffin. That man should have been killed by the members of MLT Esports, but because he stays alive, And since there's so much util been thrown at them, there's a smoke they can't see. They are busy trying to dodge the big bad laser beams. Wink got stunned on the way inside, so that basically means that his teammates also can't follow up with the speed. And all this combined just puts Aster Army in a really awkward spot. Now, considering this was an eco, Aster weren't supposed to win this one. They were just hoping that maybe if they're quick enough, they can get the plant down. That should give them some money to work with in the next one. But even that's denied, so now Aster Army are broke.
Interesting approach from Aster Army. I'm still confused. The team play was definitely lacking there. You cannot expect a solo jet to just go for the plant. I understand there were a lot of utilities, but at that point in time, you know it's an eco for you too, so might as well just fully commit, right? And try and play on the trades.
And there's a lot of ifs and buts, but
yeah.
MLT Esports still able to adjust. At least Aster Army can be happy in the fact that they managed to get Hacker to use his Hunter's Fury now in the eco round, as opposed to using it later on when Aster Army have so much more to lose. Drones waving past each other, and Tricky, steadfast, unfazed by the fact that there's a drone flying towards them, demolishes Kishi. And that's a major player taken out. They should really force Aster Army to go in a very slow fashion, because up until now they've been relying on these breach utils to get that execute rolling. And with Hacker's early positioning towards A main, Metal can smell this garage hit coming from a mile away.
Oh, I don't like this. The operator shut down Aster. Nice little entry on the site found. And all they need to do is just clear up the rest of the remaining player, and Aster, they're able to get those trades nice and slowly. Able to follow things up, and now it's a 1-on-2 situation. Metal, how are they always finding the trade, man? It's just impressive how Metal is playing this one. Their rotations are so quick. The presence of mind MLT Esports is showing. It's just so phenomenal.
Yeah. That is... you hit the nail right with the hammer. Straight on the head. MLT Esports almost always in the right position at the right time. The positioning from their rotations are perfect. And the fact that the people who are in charge of the seaside managed to boil the timer down so low, it also helps. Like, on paper, Aster Army have nothing to figure out these angles, right? Their breach is dead, so they're gonna have difficulties getting into the site. What do MLT Esports do in that case? They just try to delay the plant. Buy time for the rest of the members to move inside, and then as soon as Aster Army have the opportunity to go for the plant, Metal just throw everything inside. Oh, this is new. This is the first time DC Rules has used the smoke. Up until now, Metal were not using the smoke, and they were just playing aggro towards A long. I mean, they still play aggro in this round as well, but now that they have the smoke, it doesn't give Aster Army any sense of what kind of movement is going on.
Yep. There was an Anna Swarm hidden inside the smoke. Perfect time to activate that too. Interesting. The reads coming out, the timing's coming out from the side of MLT Esports. They're just looking so fine. Tricky on the Blade Storm. And also still got the operator activated. Look at how deep Hacker's already placed himself near A main. And it's a heavy presence from the side of Aster Army towards the C site. All they need to do is just take the garage control. The recon dart's gonna scan, and now the go call's being made. MLT Esports, they're being forced back from this garage take, but the opening's being found for the side of Metal, and that's good news for them. But look at this, Wink is just so proactive and aggressive. Instantly utilizes the Rolling Thunder too, just try and put on a little bit more delay on this push. But is that really gonna help MLT Esports? That's my real question.
I think it did already. The fact that the Rolling Thunder pushed the plunger away and gives MLT Esports time to go in for this retake, it's incredible. Cosmic Divide should buy Aster Army a little bit of time. And lucky for them, Kishi doesn't have any flashes, so they have to walk through this Cosmic Divide, and they do. They don't care. Wink's position is incredible.
That was an interesting approach from the side of MLT Esports. They sent one player, which was Wink, on the jet, just completely just dashes inside the site. But unfortunately, the follow-up just wasn't there. And that's why the entire take just failed up. I mean, Wink was pretty much the bait in that situation. But the follow-up, yep, the initial bullets were missed. The initial bullets were missed from DC Rules. And that's why the entire retake was the cost over there, and that's why Aster Army have got another round under their belt. 3-6 is the scoreline, with 3 rounds lead from Metal Esports, and they're looking pretty fine even though they lost the previous round.
Shock darts to destroy any possible Killjoy utility. Turret's present towards the other side though, so it's still safe. This drone detects both the Metal players, so now Aster Army know that there's heavy presence towards Garage, and they still look to contest it. At least Metal Esports survive this onslaught, so they can push Aster Army back for now. Also gives them a chance to reposition. But after a minute on the clock, Aster Army have nothing to show for it. Not too much ground taken. Whatever information they acquired has now changed, so it's just them missing a minute and not doing anything with it. That's kind of concerning.
Deploying drone.
And again, one thing to notice is that Aster Army hasn't really been showing any sort of presence towards A. And again, they just do not want to go A no matter what. Aster Army, it seems like the plan once again is to hit the C site.
30 seconds left.
And once again, they're going to try to take the garage control with the help of the Breach and Soa combination. And look at the timing from Tricky. Jumps out from window in the perfect time. And it's a clean sweep. Metal Esports. How are they always able to put a full stop to these type of pushes? And even from the smoke, the spams are just hitting perfectly. One last poor little man, Dominic, alive on 33 HP. And he cannot create any difference. He needs to go for a save.
Metal Esports were destined to win this round. Aster Army had the jump on them, you know, the recon dot wasn't destroyed, the crossfire between the members of Metal, they weren't perfect, even the drone spotted them both out. So then Aster Army, after having all the information, after having the utility to punish Metal in Garage, failed to do so. And when they try to re-hit Garage, it just falls apart. Falls apart like a house of cards in a hurricane. The timing
There's like
from...
this...
Yeah, sorry, the timing from Tiki, it's incredible, right? He just listens to the footsteps, goes behind them when they're not looking.
Get out of my way!
There's just like this little pattern being showed from both the teams, right? Even on the attacking side, I feel like Aster are really just repeating what they've been doing over and over again inside the side take. They're sitting 2 guys inside Garage, and always one guy falls down while they're trying to take the Garage control. If they really do want to flawlessly execute C site, I feel like Garage control is so essential, and if they really do need to take the Garage control flawlessly, they need to have one man at least watching the Garage lurk at all times, and that's the problem here is... Unfortunately, the player who was trying to make the Garage entry gets sacrificed right off the bat, and they're not able to have anyone watch the Garage flank. But for now, Aster, as I said, it's been quite a while. They haven't really shown the A presence, and they finally decide to do so. And they also catch DC rolls on from the shadows. The ultimate denied, and Metal Esports, that's a huge, huge bummer.
Oh no. She's stunned up, the shock darts and the aftershock both thrown in to clear him out. And somehow Metal reacquire the man neutralization. Disadvantage gone. Calling, holding graffiti. Does not a strong crossfire, but Doxo gives up his life.
One enemy remaining.
Cole is still holding strong, steadfast in this wake, and Wink finally helps him out. Aster Army finally recover. After a string of losses, after a string of economic meltdowns, Aster Army find their footing, but is it too little too late? I mean, Metal already have the advantage in this half. They've already got the 7 scoreline. Now, whether it's a 7-5 or an 8-4, Metal walk away with this in the lead regardless.
And even if... Okay, look, I'm going to throw a really big fact over here, right? And that is, even if Aster Army win over here, it's going to be 100% a really close game. And the audience are always going to have this one thing in their mind is that, bro, Metal Esports weren't even playing with their playing 5 and they're still able to take competition this close. That means Aster Army is lacking a lot. What?
They're making this look easy. It's a meat grind. Aster Army get knocked completely out of the park when they try to enter garage doors. At least the spike idea wasn't killed.
Similar mistakes once again while they're trying to take the garage control. The breach flash wasn't there on time. They should have tried to follow it up with a breach flash and also trying to utilize a couple of lineups to make it inside the garage. And as always, I know once you're trying to flow inside the garage area, it's always one by one. You need to enter one by one. But the problem is, the utilities just aren't there to follow it up, and even the trades are not able to be there successfully, and they're always losing out players inside that garage take. And, Metal, yeah, all that is left is just to clean up, and that's what they're gonna do.
Switching sides.
Gould is really proving his worth in gold over here. He started off at the 6th man with the team, but now he is stepping up. In fact,
One enemy
only
remaining.
person in this team who's been consistent on all 3 maps.
Oh boy, I mean, look at the half, right, Crips? And once again, Metal Esports on a dominating lead inside the first half, but the outcome can be anything still, because now the sides are going to be flipped, and we will only be able to find out about the outcome after the short break.
Came for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the breeze, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Came for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the breeze, I get it in.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Valorant Challenger South Asia, driven by Hyundai. The first half, as always, is being dominated by Metal Esports, but now we're gonna move inside the second half to find like how the storylines looking like. As we know, Metal Esports on the 8 rounds, and we have Aster Army with only 4 rounds secured in their hands, and now we're gonna move inside the pistol round. This pistol round definitely is quite important for Aster Army to set up the pace for the rest of the game, but if Metal Esports is able to secure this pistol round in their hands, so that means all they need to do is just put the final nail in the coffin to finish this entire series. Aster on the defensive side, and it seems like the B plant's already going to be done quite easily. Tricky was able to make his presence known inside the B site, and instantly every single player from the side of Metal Esports is now going to play on the post plant. That was quite a sneaky little plant. None of us expected that plant coming in, and Metal Esports, these sneaky little strategies are really working out in their favor. But Dominic, he's over here to try and put a full stop to whatever the players of Metal Esports are trying to bring to the table, and Tricky's the only man left alive with a ghost in the hand, and he has got a lot on his back, and he's not going to be able to carry it forward. Shuts him down too, and Aster Army, as I said, they desperately need this round in their hands to pull off anything in the upcoming scenarios, and they do so easily too. 8-5 is the scoreline, and Aster Army, as we all know, once you're going to win that pistol round, you're also going to be having a nice little anti-eco in your hands where you will have the guns advantage, and that's what is happening right now. Vink on the Bulldog, and Kishi as well on the Bulldog, but the unfortunate scenario here is that he's got a light armor. I'm not really a huge fan of light armors inside the anti-eco rounds, as the pistols sometimes can definitely be quite damaging. And Aster Army, they really do want to push up on their faces. They want to take the fight against them, and they want to have a fiery start to this second half. Fox just holding the flank lines, and once again it seems like they're just going to try to do the pop and plant. Kishi, nice little find from his side. This time he's not going to play a little shy. This time he's not going to let the site control take away just like that. The man on the site spotted. Kishi pushes in, but the trade's there from Hacker. One more still just lurking around in the back lines. 3-on-4 situation in which we all know Metal Esports, they have a huge advantage. And Hacker gets spotted outside B. A lot of mind games being played even from both the sides, but Metal Esports, they know. I mean, even though it's an eco round, it's their job, it's their duty to at least put some sort of a dent on opponent's economy. At least take a couple of guns down, because you never want that bonus round to come true. And that's what Metal Esports' intentions are. A recon dart sent in. Docs are still safe behind this little box, but unfortunately gets caught for the breach stun, and now also the solo play. Flash to follow it up, and Aster, they are going to be in a bit of pickle here. Fox is the last man alive for the Bulldog in the hand. He's managed to deal out quite a lot of damage to this 2-on-1 situation. As far as the eco round goes, this is a successful eco round from their side. And Fox gets shut down as well. Another round in the favor of Aster Army, but that wasn't that much of a successful anti-eco as they lost out on 3 players. So playing the bonus round is going to be a little too tough for them. And so Aster Army, at least they have a little semblance of hope. It's a little semblance of life inside this game.
10 seconds left. Aw, thought to try hard.
8-6. Aster Army trying to inch closer. But in this broken by, Aster Army once again reignite a glimmer of hope. The only question is, can this little glimmer catch fire and turn into a wild pool of radiating light? Contact made towards garage. Aster Army still unfazed. It's a 3-stack on C. And even with this 3-stack, they don't budge. They're aware that B is relatively unguarded. It's only Kishi marking the angle, and if he gets challenged over here, he's gonna have no choice but to fall back. The smoke just basically gives him no room. At least the aftershock makes it a little awkward for Metal to plant, but they're gonna go through with it regardless.
And it just seems like Aster are really not fighting for that site control, and I am having a huge issue with that. Because MLT Esports, they're getting their hands on the site just like that. It's like they're getting served aside on a silver platter. But these aggressions, these overcommitment from MLT Esports is really just costing them their life. But it's not going to matter. As always, MLT Esports, they're just so good when it comes to the trading game. And look at Tricky once again follows it up for the 2-piece from his side. 1-on-2, in which Kohli has a huge disadvantage, but Trick is down quite low. And MLT Esports, 100% they're going to play this on a little crossfire, and they're just going to let the man walk in. Another round, MLT Esports secure. And they're here to solidify this map.
Solidify the map? Dude, look at how solid their trades are. On paper, if a team is stuck on the B site in the post-plant position, they are doomed. Most of the time, the attacking teams need to either fall back towards the bottom of mid, play from either the mid window or grass, or as we saw Velocity do, they push towards the C-Link. They push out towards Garage and sometimes even towards A-Link. The point is, you can't stay on the site after the spike is planted. It's a death sentence. It's a trap. But do Metal care about that stat? No, they don't. They stay over there and they make it work on the basis of trading. And as if Aster Army hadn't lost enough, they also now fail to capitalize on this Hunter's Fury. Early commitment by Kohli doesn't hit anybody. Yes, a little damage is done, but that's okay. Izzy and Hackett have been in worse situations. They've made it work.
Playing for the info in the first early scenarios. And MLT Esports on the attacking side, yeah, I mean, they lost the first 2 rounds, which is completely fine. But instantly in the 3rd round, in the bye round, they get their pace back in the hands. Kohli's there with the Vandal. Shot's not connected. Tricky with the Blade Storm definitely is a man to fear. And that's why every single player will just fall back from the side of Aster. They're going to let the space be taken away. It's completely fine. As long as they're not going to stroll inside the site, they're going to be completely fine with that. But what a shot from Tricky. He whiffed a couple of initial blades, but later on, he again was able to connect those shots, and that's all that's going to matter. Wink switches on over to the Bulldog because he ran out of bullets inside the Phantom. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Again, a head-on-head collision should be it. But they've got the Aster moving in from the flank. And look at this, Dominic, the last man alive, DC rules. Oh, this man just cuts his head off. What is Dominic gonna do? Last glimmer of hope, and he whiffs all the shots. And Fox is there to capitalize.
It's quite surprising how Aster Army had a good footing in this round, and then all of it falls apart. Both the Jets activate themselves. Tricky with a 2-piece. Same with Wink. And then he falls back to a shot. The more appropriate thing to do when you're being challenged like that. Could have waited for Dominic, but unfortunately he tried to go in and hope that he would be able to take someone down when they were not marking him, but DC Rules just decapitated him. That being said, Metal Army did not get that advantage right at the start. I mean, they were using so much utility to take Garage presence, and they were still not able to make their way through. Aster Army saw this A hit coming from a mile away, and yet they could not do anything about it. They could not stop it.
Fox has got the Rolling Thunder in the hands, so for Metal to take the site control, it's not going to be that tough at all. But what a shot! Wink! That's disgusting! And what an opener, too! It's gonna open a lot of things for them. Maybe a glimmer of hope as well. And Wink with that little shot. Maybe it's just ignited the fire of redemption for them. But MLT Esports, they instantly are gonna extinguish that fire, as they are just following it up with all the kills, and they're looking unstoppable. 11-6 is the scoreline, and Metal, they're just dominating through even on the final map.
I mean, what do Aster Army even do in a situation like this? It's not like they made any mistakes. That shot from Wink, it's just mwah, chef's kiss, dude. And once again, Wink was in the same position as he was in the previous round, you know? He always plays towards short. If things go south, he falls deeper into its sewers. It's not even like he was trapped alone over there. He had the backup of Cody. But Cody can't do much. Even Dominic couldn't help him out. And despite having the read, Aster Army fall. Now, I mean, you can credit this victory to the weaponry not being present, but this time Aster Army taking a different approach. Very aggressive plays towards mid. Right at the start, they break that alarm bot and they comfortably fall back. But MLT Esports know. They know for a fact there's no mid presence from Aster Army anymore. They know they've fallen back. They go ahead with their lives as planned. They go ahead to it. They shot unbothered. And it's not even like MLT Esports are keen on selling their fakes or presence towards any other site. They're comfortable with just taking A raw.
And look at this. Aster Army are playing this so passive. They're letting the site control just be taken away. They just want to play it on a complete post plant. And I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of this. Honestly, Crips. Because I personally feel like A side is a site where you definitely need to fight back.
Placing swarm grenade.
But it's a different scenario on C. C can be retakeable. Because it's quite easy to make the flank possible as well. But at least for now, inside this A site, they've got the lockdown available too, but it instantly gets taken care of. So at least now the lockdown's not going to be in place, so that's not going to be a problem creator anymore. But Easy is there to take things in his hands. He's able to take matters in his hands. And Hacker, holding such an aggressive angle, he knows he is the only one who can try to pull something off here. And look at goalie. They've got the site charge taken, but their plant is instantly denied. The lockdown goes off. One player's detained, but the spray transfer finds it. Fox saves the day for his team. And MLT Esports, another round on the board. One more to go, and they've got the match point secured.
Laughter all around as Fox almost did not make it. In the last second, he connects those bullets. One of them even got detained, and Aster Army, all they needed to do was just play on the back of this Cosmic Divide. And they just wasted too much time to get inside. The Cosmic Divide expired, opening up the avenue for Fox. This combination of Lockdown plus Cosmic Divide is the easiest way to wipe a retake, and Aster Army could not make it work. Even on the back of those massive ultimates. How can they possibly hope to contest MLT Esports like this?
Bot coming back.
And this time MLT Esports are going for a very different approach. You saw how in the previous round they were all just huddled up outside of A shot. Well, not this time. This time they're going for a rather defaultist approach.
Nice.
And at least Aster are able to get the opening frag. So all the defaults from Metal in different parts of the map do get accounted for. And now Aster Army can play very passively. They don't need to play aggressively anymore, but they still will. I will give up A main.
Oh my god, how are Metal winning these fights? These jewels are being won by Metal so easily. And Aster...
Oh
boy.
It's lovely.
Yeah, look at this.
Knew for a fact that Aster Army were all the way towards A shot and A long. So they take A link instead and plant all the way for CT.
Oh. Ready with the pop flash, and he's going to peek out too, but Wink is too quick to dodge it. Looks away in the nick of time, and Wink is able to shut down the first man. But Aster Army eventually do secure that round, but still, Crips, you ask yourself, they have woken up, but is it too late?
Team Ace.
I mean, yes, they were in a bit of a slumber. They're woken up and they chose violence, but they will need to choose it again and again. Now, it just so happens that MLT Esports decided to go for a default this late in the game. Which is fine, you know, it opens up the avenues. Lets the members of MLT Esports move in a little bit more in a solo fashion, which was which is easier for Aster Army to deal with. But I can't help but imagine what's going to happen when MLT Esports just go back to the good old group up and hit these like your executes. If they go back to that approach, then Aster Army always finds it difficult to stop them in their tracks. But look at the position from Wing. He's so deep inside already. Now as he's almost dead, Tricky finds the A side empty. And whatever control that Metal lost on C, they take it back on A. Going to the good old reliable one.
Yeah, and they've got the Rolling Thunder invested inside the round. Instantly, they've got the Hunter's Fury too. This is pretty much the counter for that Rolling Thunder, hoping that maybe someone gets caught inside those beams, but that's not going to be the case. The Hunter's Fury doesn't really find a lot of value. And the other hand, though, Aster, they're just easily able to roll in. But still, the trades are back and forth. And now Hacker, it's a 1-on-2 situation. Let's find out if the coach has gotten his back. But so far, it seemed like he was able to keep up, but unfortunately, he gets taken out.
Aster Army is starting to become more and more successful in their A retakes. It seems like now their idea to give up the site upon initial contact is starting to finally work out, you know? Because there was a string of rounds where MLT Esports would just hit the A site again and again and again, and Aster wasn't able to do anything about it. They weren't even able to retake. At least that problem's been fixed. But that's just one of the problems now, you know? What's going to happen if MLT Esports decide to take a tactical timeout and reinvent their approach? Hit some other parts of the map.
Personally, I feel like they should go back to what they were trying to do. Hit the B site, get the plant down, instantly fall back. Because personally on B, they've got the breach watching on the B site. If they do take down the breach, that means it's not going to be that big of a problem anymore. Yeah, breach does have the aftershock to try and stop the plant, at least for a while. But once it's baited out, you're going to have a clean site in your hands where you can try and go for the plant. But 8-12 is the scoreline, and MLT Esports, all they need is one more round. This tactical timeout definitely is going to bring some sort of a change in the great game strat, but gotta say, man, MLT Esports, they have been really impressive.
No, definitely. Both these teams have been impressive so far. Both these teams have also been very assertive in their attacking sides. You saw how Aster Army had a clear preference towards the A side. Aster Army had a clear preference towards the C side, and Metal have it on A. And with both the teams throwing their preferred stats at each other, now it's time to bring in the more uncomfortable strats, the ones that really stretch you out. Recon darts exchanged on either side. And Metal still hesitant to enter, and for good reason, because they were aware that this Hunter's Fury will be committed. Now all they gotta do is wait it out, but look at the positioning from Ezzy. He's deep inside B, undetected. The Rolling Thunder gets committed towards the C side, but this is just a ruse. Dominic gets a kill onto Big Clark, but that is completely okay. This isn't. DC Rule should have had it in the bag. They get the plant down, but at the cost of two of their major members' lives.
Oh no, Metal overcommitments are there, and I literally told you too, Crips. The B-side take has to be the way to go, and they are exactly trying to do that too, but unfortunately the overcommitments are costing them their lives. The side take was perfect, they did it perfectly, but then in the post-plants, those commitments weren't really needed. They could have just tried to play for the post-plant and just wait for the players of Aster to try and flow in their crosshairs.
Sorry, I disagree over there. I kind of feel like the re-aggression towards the C side was absolutely justified, and it was necessary because you see the amount of massive ultimates available onto Aster Esports, right? The Rolling Thunder was prepared. I'm sorry, not the Rolling Thunder. The Hunter's Fury was there, and there was so much delaying utility that Aster Army could use to just keep the planter away. And MLT Esports were aware about that. So a little aggression towards Garage or C was required so that they can pull Aster Army away from C-Link and build some more space for their players who are already trapped in B. Now, it didn't work out. That's a different story. But I like the idea.
I mean, as long as if you've got the site control, you can pretty much decide to plant anywhere, right? Because usually the utilities are going to be used in the default plant spots. But at least for now, they've tried to pretty much mimic the same strategy once again. They've got the site control in the hand, but they still aren't really going for the plants.
No, they don't.
Hackers got the plant. Hackers got the spike in the hand, and it seems like they're pretty much going to replicate what they did. And previously, they're going to get the A-Link control, and then eventually just stroll inside the A site. But Aster, they're expecting this. Kishi was there on the site, but the operator's now going to start a strike as Wink spots out the planter. But Fox is there with the trades. And Wink, this operator's just so deadly. He needs to be protected at any cost. And Aster Army, that operator has to be the saving grace. If Wink finds one more right here, it's going to be another lifeline ignited back in their hearts.
The drone doesn't clear out Wink. Leads them to believe that he might be towards A-Long. But what they don't know is that Dominic is also present. Oh no, but this Cosmic Divide kind of gives away their play, and now everybody on Metal will play ahead of it. It's been redundant.
Attack.
Oh no. Metal Esports, they secure this entire series against Aster Army, even though they had a huge disadvantage getting inside this one. The first map, Aster Army dominated, but then later on, it was Metal Esports supremacy all the way. And I don't know what sort of a strategy they had cooking up, but I really want to know the insights inside this game.
I think I might have a couple of insights over here. I mean, there was a string of rounds where Metal Esports just hit the B site again and again and again, especially in the last few rounds. I mean, of course, when they hit these B sites, the amount of success they get is quite different from the other rounds. It's quite varying, but they were all setting it up for the ultimate push towards A. They went into its B site, take A-Link control, and then from the shadows is committed. They crunched the A side, and poor Kishi over there just really couldn't do much. He was trapped on an island away from his teammates. Even Doxer couldn't help him out when he tried. Incredible stuff from Metal Esports. The way they adjusted. Wait, hold on. Let me take my words back. It's not just the way they adjusted, but also the way they conditioned Aster Army into believing that they know what's happening. That is the more impressive part. You give Aster Army a blanket of hope and then pull it away from them, leaving them cold and dry.
I'm not gonna lie, the coach, Hacker, oh man, he had a little angry eyes there after the game was done, huh? He unleashed all the anger inside the game against his opponents, Aster Army. But hey man, what a win from their side. It's crazy how we all didn't expect this, but this was the outcome, ladies and gentlemen. But don't go anywhere, the post-match segment will be after the short break.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
The all-new i20, born magnetic.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. Now we gon' way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track,